Okay, so it looks like this didn't work as intended. So let's just put it back at value like that. Oh, I think I remember now what actually worked. It's the same value as date, but I think I had to set it using JavaScript, I think. So I'll leave this as it is. But what I'll do is right down here, since we have some JavaScript tags, let me find a way to grab this item right there. So I'm just going to give it a class name. I'll call it, what do I call it? Let's just call it my date. It doesn't matter. So you can name it whatever you want, as long as it's a unique class name. And let's go down here so that when we load the page, we automatically give it a value using JavaScript. So I'm just going to try and grab it here and say document.querySelector, and then let's grab that class. So don't forget the dot, and then you say my date, and then dot. Instead of saying dot value like this, we say dot value as date is equal to, and then if we add a new date like this, it actually would work. Let's see if I refresh. And there you go. So it gives the current date right there, which is nice. But if we supply it with an existing date, then it can convert that. So I think I'm going to grab this one right here. Since this is what the value is supposed to be, let's put it in here instead. And then let's put some quotes around it because it should be a string. So those single quotes outside it, like so. So let's try this and let's refresh. And there it is. So it actually worked. But there's one problem in case you haven't noticed yet. This says 3rd of September, right? If I click on edit, this is 2nd of September. Yep, look at that. Instead of being here on the 3rd of September. So something is wrong. Now, usually what happens here is that it's an issue of time zones, I think. But I found last time I had this, it took me a while. Last time I had this problem, it took me a while to sort out, but eventually I did figure it out. And that's if you're dealing with time zones, and if you don't want to deal with time zones, just don't put the time there. So instead of giving it time, if we look at our table here, so if we click on the database and go to story, and this is the first record here, you see that the date has this part right here, and then it's got time as well, 00.00.00. So this is useless information. It's changing the time zone because this is time. So we don't want to give it time, we just want to give it the date. So what I'm going to do is just grab this, copy this part right there. I want to go to the structure of the table and change it like I had said earlier. If you don't need the time, just change the type from date time to just date. So click here. This will save you a lot of headaches. So let me save that. So since we've changed it to date, now it gets rid of those 000. So there was no need for me to even copy that. But because it's date and has no time, it won't have to auto edit the time zone. But let's refresh here to make sure we still have the same information. And then if I click edit, now I have 3rd, as you can see there, no time zone issues. Because you can go down the rabbit hole of trying to fix the time zone with what we saw here, which is, I don't like, this is too much code just to get a date. So good thing we sorted it out easier this way. Okay, great. So things are looking up. And let me click one more here. So this is when they first met. This is the first date. So I want to make another record of this. So let's click new. And then we click here. Try to figure out first date. Let's see which photos kind of match that. Met, first date, where? Maybe here. Let's open that. And let's put our story there. This one goes to number 2, and then title over here will be first date, like this, and let's save. Okay, so good. They met, first date, etc., etc. Now, before we even add some more, I want us to see how this reflects on the front end here. So our story right there, let me copy that so I can easily find it. Now, the interesting thing here is that we have two styles here, two styles of classes. So there's this one that styles with the image on this side and puts the text this way. And then the text is justified to the left, but here the text is justified to the right, and then the image is on this side. So clearly there are two different styles here. So we have to make sure that ideally when you're looping through, you want similar content. Because if you look at all of these, this sets an image, similar content. Here, everything has the same exact format. But over here, we have two styles. So we can check this out by going to the home page. So let me go to the home page and try to find that header text, which is our love story. And let's look closely here at what's going on. So there's first met right there. So this whole entire, this is one row right here. And as you can see, there's this text MD right, okay? MD right. And then there's text MD left. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to see where these things loop from, just to be sure that, so there's this row and there's this one, and then we follow this next, and this, wait, what's going on here? First met, first date. This is highly confusing me. Justify sent. So I'm looking for everything that's different between these rows. So first of all, let's grab this. Let's see if it's similar on every one of them. So that is the same everywhere. Okay, so that's good. And then we have an image immediately, which we don't have here. Okay, so there's two formats here. This is nice. This is nice. So first, second, So immediately we have an image right here. So if I try to duplicate this, I'll see that it skips one and goes to the other one, which makes sense. And then here we have the image down there instead. Okay. Interesting. All right, so it's interchanging. We have this one, then we have this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is delete the last two. Since I think these guys are 4, there's this one, this one, this one, and that one. So this is a repeat. This one is a repeat of this one, and this one is a repeat of this one. So we don't need the last two. We just need the unique ones. So I'll grab this div just to make sure that I get the opening and closing. And also here I grab this one and delete. Okay, so now we have 2 of those guys. Always keep a copy of these things. In case you mess up, you can always get back to the original view. So this is what we have. Now we have this and we have that. So we need an else statement to tell us which of the 2 to show at a particular time, right? But for now, what I'm going to do is, since these guys are in here and I know this is where they repeat from, I'm just going to put PHP tags here. So I'm just going to say PHP, an if statement, if not empty, we're going to call this one stories. That's what will hold the content. And I'll put the ending one on the second one. So there are 2 of them here, PHP, and if, right? Like that. Okay, great. Now, if stories is available, let's duplicate that, push that in. I want to change my if statement to for each. Now there's another if there, so I'll have to change this one at a time. So say for each, and grab this. Put here end for each. So this creates a loop through here. So this one will be stories as, I think I like using row, so I'll just say row like that. So stories as row, And then now we can use the content here. So I'm just going to copy that. And here we have a title, I think. It's a title. So I will put some PHP tags. We can escape this title like so. Close it and close the tag like this. So I'll grab this. Now this is the second version. So as well here, I will paste a title as well. And then we're going to put date over here. So I'll duplicate, select both and put that, and then type date on both. But then don't forget to say get date here instead of escape. Great. Then we have a description, of course. So I'll select that on both and paste. And then we change that to description. So we're basically adding the same information on both. The only difference is that they are styled differently. So we need both. And also here on the image as well. So I want to grab that image part. I'll grab up to here because the numbers are different. I'll grab what's similar and then paste, then delete the last parts. Then we go here and say image. Then instead of escape, we'll use get image like this. Now we need stories to be active. So let's go to the home controller, and just like we did with all of these guys, I am going to duplicate from here and then change family with, you can put comments here. You can put comments here to know for stories section like that. Okay, and then you can put comments on each one of these as you please. So ascending order, limit order, this is fine, that is fine. But here I'm looking for stories like so. Okay, I could have changed this to families as well. It doesn't matter as long as you're looking for whatever you used here on the other side. So it's going to load this, and it's not going to be family model, this is going to be story model. Okay, so let's see what happens. So we're going to lose these two guys here. I will refresh the page, and this is what we get. Look at that. So it's repeated twice because each loop has both of these. Now it seems the original images were had a specific width or something. Let's try and match that. So I'm going to go back to home, and right on here, I will add a style. Okay. So this one will have a width, or we can just say max width because it has 100% width right now, but maximum width, let's put it at 200 pixels. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so 200 pixels doesn't seem like much. Let's try 300 pixels, max width. Okay, I think that's more like it. Let's have a height limit as well. So let's try actually 350 max width. And then let's have a fixed height of 300 pixels, like that. Okay, so this will stretch the images, no doubt, but then we can crop them by using object fit and cover, like that. Okay, so let's refresh, and there we go. Very good. Now, if you think the height is too much, like I do, you can lower it to whatever amount that you want. Alrighty then, there we go. Is cool. Why is this different to this though? This is weird. Oh, that's because I didn't change this on the other side. Sorry, my bad. So I'm going to copy all of these styles and put them here. Actually, the only difference is the 250 right here. Okay. All right, very nice. Look at that. Okay, but we need to get rid of one of these on each. So we need to know when to put one or the other. Now we can use the modulus calculator. So what I'll do is this. Every time through the loop, let me put some PHP code here. Oops. Okay. Now what we can do is we can put a number that loops through here. So after these full colon like this, I can put a variable here, declare a variable is equal to 0. Okay. I'm just lazy. I don't want to add more. I need to declare this before the loop, so outside the loop. So I'm just adding it there because otherwise I'd need to create some new PHP tags down here. I don't want that. So I'll put that there. And then every time through the loop right here, we can just say num++. So this is going to be, what's this? This is going to be something that increments the number will change throughout the loop. So if you want to see this, we can just do echo num right there and see that the number will be changing. So let's refresh. So as you can see, we have 1 there, we have 2 here. So 2 records, right? So how can we utilize this? There's the modulus effect, so the modulus calculator. So what we'll do is we'll echo num modulus 2 like that. So let's see what we get there. So as you can see here, we have 1, here we have 0. Let me add another record here. So instead of first met, what did we have before that? This is the problem. I've deleted the original stuff. I can always check the original template if I have it, but no matter. We can have I think engagement now can work. Engaged. Maybe we'll say got engaged in October, maybe October 12th. Let's grab some lorem ipsum. I'll go to the lorem ipsum website so we can grab some dummy text from there. Come on. This is like, okay, there we go. So I'll grab this. Let's paste there. And the list order is 3. This is the 3rd installment, so let's save. Great, so there we go. Got engaged. And then finally, marriage is coming up soon. So let's put those rings there. I saw some rings here. So put those WebP so that we can also see if a WebP can be resized. Wedding day, maybe in the future. Let's do that. Let's paste our content. This is number 4. And let's save. Okay, so it did manage to resize it, which is cool. So we have all this. And then if we come back here and refresh, what I wanted you to see is that what the modulus does, it gives you an answer of 1 there, 0, 1, and 0 again. And then, yep. So you see here, there's 0, there's 1, there's 0, and 1. So it just keeps repeating 0, 1, 0, 1. So we can use that to say if it's 1, let's load the one that is on the left. If it's 0, let's load the one that's on the right. If it's 1, let's load this one. If it's 0, let's load the other. Now, the way modulus works is that this is like divide. So the number divided by 2, but because we use the modulus symbol here, it gives us the remainder as the answer. So if you have 1 and you divide it by 2, the remainder is 1 divided by 2. I think the remainder is 1 or something. I'm not sure. But then if you just keep going and dividing by 2, if there's a remainder, it gives you the remainder. If there's no remainder, it gives you a 0. So this is what I use. So what we're going to do is just say, let's give it a value here. And we're going to say, actually, we can just put this in a new statement. I don't want to put too much code here. So let's do this. Now, since this returns 1 or 0, we can just use it directly and say if num modulus 2, because if it's a 0, that is equal to false. If it's 1 or any other number apart from 0, then it's positive. So that's either true or false. So we can do this instead and say if this, then let's show that, which means 1 will show this. But then we can put an else statement. If we get a 0, let's show the other one and say else, close that. Let's push everything in. And then I will need that end if again here, like this. Let me push this inward. Okay, so this will solve our problem now. So let me refresh. And where are we? There we go. So we have our information. There we go. So it's working. This side, that side, this side. So if you wanted to start with the other, all you have to do is put a not at the beginning here. You say not. Would this work though? I don't know. Let's try that. Yeah. No, then it doesn't work. So it just shows one side. You can also just leave one if you want, like this, to make it look like that. But the reason this doesn't work is we have to not the answer itself and put an exclamation point at the end like that, so that we negate the answer itself. And then you see now it is swapped. So it starts with this one, and then that, and then that. Okay, great. So this section is done, just like the others. Now, as you can see, this part for bride and groom is very similar to this part right here. So it's not going to be difficult to do. The only difference is we need to put these guys here and an extra field in the database. Also, the icon, if you want to put an icon there, that's up to you. So to put an icon, we can use the icon class. And what kind of icons are these anyway? Let's inspect. So this is Font Awesome they are using here. So since it's Font Awesome, we can go to the Font Awesome website to check what possibilities are there and so on. But for now, if I inspect this, you'll see that it's male, and that's the name of the icon, and this one is female. Okay, so simple and straightforward. So here we only have 2, but if maybe there are 3 people for some reason on this wedding, then we can add more people here. But let's copy everything over to deal with, what is this one anyway? There's about, this story, this gallery. Oh, this is the about section, okay? So let's do exactly what we did with the other, just for the about section here. So what to do. So exactly what's here, let's click on about and copy everything over. So story and about are very similar, so this is not going to take long. So what we'll do is let's grab, let me go to the admin section, and there's story here, which I want to duplicate. I haven't actually tried if these guys do delete the story. I tried the edit. Why? That worked just fine, I guess. Let me try and change this from 30th to 29 and save. Okay, that works. So I'm guessing the delete works as well. If it doesn't, try to fix it on your own, but I bet it actually works. That would be good practice for you. So let's go to the about section and try the same thing. So here, I'm going to select a story function and go down to where it ends up to here and duplicate. Ctrl-Shift-D. Okay, so every instance of story changes to about. Careful not to go to the other function when selecting, so let's change that to about, and that should solve the problem. And here we'll put about model like that. Okay, so now since the about model does not exist, we will create it. So let's go to story model is what we are copying. Copy everything, new, save, and instead of story we have about, and save. Okay, cool. Let me close everything else. Oh, before I do that, let me just grab a story view and create that as well. So copy everything from the story view and right click on the admin folder in the views table, paste, and save this as about.view.php. All right, this is great. So let's change a few things in here. For example, the links admin story /story will change to admin /about. Okay, every instance of story, when searching, make sure it's case sensitive so that you change everything you need. This is about, so we change that to about. Oh wait, did I? Is it changing anything? What's happening? Oh no, what's going on? I think it's editing from here instead. So let me select again and then do about. Okay, great. So let me try and refresh. Okay, so the about model not found. What's going on? Okay, the about model is here. Oh, I didn't change the name. So let's do that. Very nice. So we have a, let me refresh. Okay, so it just loads everything from the story gallery, as you can see here, but we need to change that. So I'm going to go to the wedding here and look at this. So there's a title, but there's a name as well. So, and then we have also the icon. Okay, so there's title, there's also name, and then there's also icon and a few other things. So I'll do icon like that. Okay, so these are text fields. So name and icon, let me add those. We don't need the date really because we are not dealing with date here. So I'm going to remove that. List order may be needed in case you need to swap them. Excuse me. So let's go to the table create here. Let's remove the date. Let's duplicate title and put name as well. And duplicate again, let's put icon. So the icon is just a string, the icon class name in there, so that's fine. But also we're going to need, where we have family, where is this? Family model has these Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So we'll need those. Let's copy those as well. So back to the about model. Right over here, let's paste. Oh no, those are for the table, right? So let's paste them here. Yep, there we go. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, goodie. And then in the same family model that I copied these four guys, I can simply just copy them again from the top and go to the about model and paste them here as well. All right, this is great. Everything good. Only that, where is this? In the validation here, since we have title and name, let's put those as well. You can put icon as well, that's up to you. Let's put icon, let's put name as well. Just make sure the error messages read correctly. So say an icon class name is required. Okay, good. Everything looks great so far. Only that we need to change the table name. Here the table name should be about, but you can also put underscores just to be more specific what's happening, and about family or whatever if you want. But for now, we just leave it on the about table like that. Then come down here as well. Story should change the name there to about, and I think that summarizes it. So now let's close all files just to be neat here so we don't get confused what we're doing. Go back to the admin controller, and I'm looking for the about section, so I can just search for it, of course. Let's see, story, and then finally about. So right here on the about, I want to create a table. So I'll do this and say create table. Remember, this should only run once, but even if you left it there, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there we go. So now we have a new table and it is empty. So this is good. So back here, let's refresh. Great. Now we can actually click on new here. New about. Okay, just make sure it's sending to the right place. Let's change our inputs. We don't need date. We do need the about. We need a name here and the class icon. So let's go there. So we're going to go to the about view and about there. So let's replace date, and I'm going to delete date, and I'll duplicate title and change it to name. And put person's name. Okay. Here we'll say maybe, we just leave it as title. There's a description. Then let's duplicate again. Here we'll say icon. Okay, this one is the icon class name for the placeholder there, and this should do it actually. So let me refresh, and there we go. Icon class name, list order, and about section. Everything seems like it's in order. So here we want the groom. So we're going to grab this. Let's put the groom. The icon is male, so that's all we need to put there. The icon class name. Person is maybe Jack. And the about section, though, we need to copy the information from here. Or you can type your own information. This one is list order number 1. Let's click to add an image. Let's see which image looks like the groom. I don't actually have one of those, but it doesn't really matter. Any of these will do just fine. And let's save. And there we go. Look at that. So we have about. Now this is, we didn't edit this, so we need to show correctly what. Let's go down here to the list. Yeah. So about title, we have a description. We don't have a date. We have, let me duplicate the title and say person's name. Then we have an icon here. All right, then let's remove date. Cool. And I think that does it. So from the title, let me duplicate. Let me put name here. And after name, let's put icon. And then let's put, let's remove the date, and that should do it. So come back here and let's refresh. There we go. So instead of having at least we can show the actual icon here, right? So icon here, instead of doing this, we're just going to put an I tag here, then put a class of FA, and then usually it should be like this when you're putting the icon, right? But we're going to replace that part that says mail with PHP, like that. That way, whatever class we put will be the one that's there. So we can't see it here. That's probably because Font Awesome is not included on the admin view page. So let's find our header for the yeah, it doesn't have Font Awesome. So what we'll do is let's go on the home view. This one does have Font Awesome. So this is the include part. So copy this right there. Go back to the admin header here, and let's just load it anywhere here. Doesn't matter. Maybe we can load it first. Really isn't a big deal what comes first. Oh, it actually is. Your custom CSS should always come last. Okay, so let's refresh now, and you can see the icon there. I don't know how to increase the... You can increase by putting proper font size. So let's use Bootstrap here and just say font size 1, which will make it look like it will get the font size of an H1 tag. So there we go, icon. All right, so person's name is Jack, the groom, and then the list order. Everything looks great. Let's add a new thingy here for the groom, of course. Where is the groom? I want to put this one. But let's see. Maybe we can put J-Lo over here. Okay, so let's go to, oh, the bride. Sorry, not the groom, the bride. Some text there. Oh, one thing I forgot to put the links, right? So we'll check that out when editing, when fixing the edit thing. So this one is rows. All right, that's number 2. And let's save. There we go. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Okay, so very nice. Things are working out, but let's see if it will show here. So to show this, we do exactly what we did with the other one. So back to the home view. Let me grab this so it takes me exactly where I want to go and search, and there we go. So we're going to have 2 of these guys. So there's the groom here and there's the bride over here. So the loop, I think, happens here. This is one item here, and it looks like since it's here, what is this? So the groom title. Okay, so maybe this is not a, yeah, no, it is a loopable thing, only that the image starts here, this one puts the image last. All right. Very uneasy about this because this looks like it's totally outside of this one, but this one has a container over it. So this is not very good design right here. What I'm going to do is I want to hold both of these in one container. So I will add a div here and duplicate that right here. Push this in. I just want one div that holds this first part. So let's see if that doesn't mess anything up originally. Did it? No, doesn't seem to have done anything, so great. Okay, so we'll count this as the first and this as the second. So exactly how we did the first one, we're going to check if not empty about, like that. Okay, duplicate this because we want to do a for each here now, and move that about as row. I like using row instead. Okay, good. So from there, let's see where this ends. Let me see where this ends anyway. Right there. So right before that, let's put some PHP tags and say end for each. And also end if right there. Let's move these two babies in. Let's move all of this in. Then let's move that in. Okay, great. Right then, so now we can loop through this. So first thing is, let's grab that and put on the title. Oh, okay, now it makes sense. Okay, I see. So this was my mistake. My mistake. So let me remove the div I created. This is the title of the section, so I thought it was part of the thing, but it's not. So let's move this away, completely away from all of this. So I'm just shift control up arrow key to move it up like that. Okay, great. So this is the div I was looking for. So let me move that back. Okay, so first part, second part. So now with this, I can do row title like that, and then escape it. But then let's not forget our PHP tags. All right, so title there, nice. Also on the other one, the groom, the bride, sorry, title. In the same way we put our description here as well. Paste. Description, great. What else? We need to fix the icon. So icon right here. Paste, and let's put icon here. I would do the same here for the female part. Icon. Okay, great. What else? So the rest is these Instagram thingies here. Oh, there's also name here, which I omitted. So let me put that here. This one, name. Same thing here, name. All right, very cool. And let's do the same for these guys here. All right. Now we just need to change to the appropriate thing. Twitter link, Facebook link, and finally Instagram. So same thing here. It should have somehow found a way to batch edit this, but this is fine. Finally Instagram. Alrighty then, so looking good, looking good. Only that the image is left now, so let's grab this, paste, let's delete that, and let's say image, object fit cover, it already exists here, nice. All right, this is looking good. All I need to do now is put an if statement for the modulus effect as well, for modulus calculation. Let's put a num here, set it to 0. You can set it to 1 if you want to flip things as well. That's another option. Let's try and set it to 1 so we don't have to negate the answer here. Let's do num++, and let's ask the question, PHP, if num modulus 2, then show this one. If not, let's do an else statement here. All right, let's push things over. And let's push things over here as well. Copy this and if. Very nice. All right. So groom starts with the image here, then bride. Let's see. So we forgot to actually load the content. So let me go to home, and right about here, I'll duplicate this. This is not for stories. This is for about section. Okay, so about there, and make sure it's the correct model. And yep, that does it. Let's refresh, and there we go. Look at that. Now it's done the opposite. This number, the groom should be here, but it's up to you. You know, you can always do what you wish. So to change that, we can start it from 0 instead of 1. That way it will flip. There we go. Okay, so that's an easier way of flipping these if you want to. So things are looking good. Look at this. So if I change the title or the name of the groom here, so anytime I can just come here, edit, and oh, look at that. So that's what we need to fix. So let's go back to the about section and copy what's on the new part. So title, icon. There's some things missing here. So before we go even further, let me grab, where is this? Let me grab the family part. This is the one that had these Twitter link and etc. etc. We can put them on the about section like I thought. Okay, great. This is looking good. So what I'll do is I'll grab this from the title up to here. Take this to the edit section as well, from there to there. Let's push things over. The only thing we need now is to put the row and the default value. So there's title, there's icon, and then there's name. Okay, great. Same thing here for the description, row, description. But I don't need to suffer with these guys. I can just go back to family, go to the edit section and grab what's already here. There is no need to suffer. So back here, which already has the content I want to do. Alrighty then. So let's refresh now. There we go. Look at that. And we have links as well. Very cool. Okay, so if I want to change the groom's name to John, for example, I can right here and hit save. So he's now John. If I come back here, you see he's now John. All right, so everything here, almost everything is editable. What part have we missed? Here, by the way, if you want this to be on the center when there are less of these, just put justify content center. So I'm going to copy this, go to the home page. Where is this? And try to find that. This is where we are looping. So right here, we can just say justify content center, like that. And this should do the trick. Ah, it doesn't do the trick now, does it? It does not. Okay, maybe there's something overriding this from here. I am not sure. Because this div right there, column 6, column 4. I don't know why this is not working. This should work. Okay, sometimes it helps to, let's put a border here just to see where the borders are for each of these divs. Okay, so that looks just about right. Okay, so the correct borders right here. These are columns. I think whatever was put here overrides what's here. So if it gets to this level, you can still say justify content and then say center. And then you can put the important so that it overrides every other setting that is involved. Still doesn't seem to work. Blech. This is weird. I really don't know. Anyway, this is a styling issue, so let me not dwell on this one. You can take your time and try to figure out what's happening, what's going on. You can go through the CSS itself, try to switch off some CSS by just doing inspect. And then you can go around, since this is the one with justify. Oh, there's position relative. I think that's why. That probably part of, but no, that shouldn't do anything. Let's try and remove it. See, okay. That completely removed the thing from our view. So let's put it back. And there it is. So you can go through all of these and see what's doing what. When you remove that, what happens? Flex wrap is allowed, margin left, margin right, etc., etc. So take your time. I don't want to waste your time with this. Let's go to more important things. And also we have this part right here. So you see it's a similar thing that we are doing here. There's the reception, there's this. We can put more of these if there are other things that are happening here. So with this one though, we can have one record as well, just like with the others. Or if you want, you can put several records here. It's really up to you. Same process, you know. So this will be your homework. Just I think you need, just for you to have an exercise to see how well you can do things, try and recreate this one. It's the same process, you know, just add image, content, whatever content you want here. Not really a big deal. And then save it on the event section. Where is that? Right here, right? So try and do that one. It's exactly the same process repeated over and over. What I think might be an issue is this RSVP, so let's do that one instead. This one right here. Alrighty then, great. But before we go to that, let's fix this here. So if this says Jack and Rose, which it shouldn't, so it should look at the title of the website and put that there. So we have that already, which is app name. So let me try and find it. So it says right there, Jack and Rose. This is the carousel start. So instead of this, let's put, it's repeated there. So I think there's several images here, actually. Okay, so let's put this app name here instead. I'll close that. Okay. Okay, so there, my wedding day. And then here there's, we're getting married, but we have app description as well, which we created already. So let me change that as well to app description. Close that tag. Let's see what we get. Okay, so my wedding day, best day ever. Very nice. Now, we can add something to change the image in the background as well. Now, if I click here, it takes me to this, which doesn't make sense. That's because I changed the links here. They have, oh, there's a video here as well. And same thing here. But before we get to that, there are these buttons that we have over here. Where is this? Carousel header. So this one should not lead to any of this. So let's remove that. It should just put a hash carousel at the beginning there so that we move through the images. So I'll refresh and click here now. It doesn't seem to do anything at all. Did it do something? I think it's supposed to move between the two. There's this one and there's this one. Carousel image 1, carousel image 2. So I'm not particularly understanding why it is not working. Okay, is there an item with this here? Okay, wait. There's root. Maybe. Let's just remove assets. Let's see. Let's see if that does anything different. Let me remove this. Then let's click. Why is it refreshing the page? It's weird. Does it need a slash? Yeah, it needs a slash to stop refreshing. Anyway, here when you click, it should bring up a video. So it's not doing that either. So I think there's something missing with the JavaScript. Interesting. Okay, let me try and see if there's any, if you inspect the element and go to the console, usually you can see let me refresh. Autoplay, it's just saying undefined. What's going on? Okay, so I guess this is supposed to autoplay or something. Anyway, to monitor these things, what you can do is, let me right click here and inspect the button itself. Okay, so let's see where the button itself is. So there's an event here. So if I click on this, there's an event listener. There's a click event that goes to main.js and jQuery. So we can't edit jQuery, but main.js should have the function. So video source, okay. So main.js, line 34. Let's figure out why that isn't working. So since there is an event listener, is main.js working? That's the question. So it's right here. Is it loaded properly? So what I would do is I'll right click and say view page source, go to the very end where there's main.js and click on it, and apparently it is loaded. So something isn't working right. And also, let's go back to the same header right at the top. Right here, this is the button right here. Okay, button play. So the HTTP here is wrong. So what I'm going to do is we can do this. This helps you to link to a YouTube video. So let me remove that and just leave the HTTP. Let me find all instances where we've done this. HTTP with this, so that we remove all those instances there, because that's not right. So what I would do is I'll do shift remove the HTTP itself and delete. Okay, I think that should help us out in a way. Okay, still not working for these guys. That's fine. So what we would do to fix issues here, for example, change the image here, we're going to put a settings column here. So settings will have general items that are one-off. Like, for example, if you wanted to add this title to the settings, you can add that there, and this one as well, instead of in the app name. So also the image that's set back here could be part of the settings. Maybe some of these titles, like the section title of this one here, you can save those in the settings, etc., etc. Although you can simply just edit them directly on the template itself. So those are options you can do, but this will show you how you can actually put settings if you want in that area there. So let's put, just so we don't forget, let me just put settings down here. So we're going to go to the admin header. Let me go down here. So there's contact right here. So let me duplicate this. And then I will change this to settings. And then from settings, I'll change that to, I think there's gear or something. I don't know. Change that to settings as well. So let's come back here and refresh. Okay, so at least we have a settings button now so that we can add all the other stuff. But let's add RSVP first of all. Now, RSVP will be different because we are not, this is this part here where people send messages. So all we need to do here is validate the data from here. And then once we do that, we show the user that they've sent a message. Okay. So all we need to do is just put required field on each one of these, the message, and then your name, message, and then hit the submit button. So we're going to use Ajax here. Now it's up to you. You can put, anyway, since this is just one item here, I think we can, what can we do here? We can use Ajax actually, so no problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a, let me put a controller here that is an Ajax controller that will control all the Ajax traffic. So I'm going to copy everything from, where do I get this from? Actually, this looks simpler. So let me grab this from the 404 page and let's new and I paste. This one will be Ajax. It doesn't have to be called that. You can call the class anything you want. Ajax.php, like so. Okay, great. So we have that there. And we just want information here. So if something was posted, we want to check. So let me go to admin, where we are already using this kind of code. So I'll copy this. Where is the Ajax? Let me move it closer and put that there, like so. Okay, so if something was posted here, then we can echo something and say, hello from Ajax, like that, just so we know it's working, right? So I'll save this. And then what we will do now is let's go to the home page itself, the home view. Where is that? Home view. So we go to the page, to the form. I'm attending. This is all that we need. And there's a form here. So here instead, we could put a method of post if we want. Not really needed. And then what we can do is we can say on submit, let's do something instead. So instead of just submitting this, let's run a function, okay? We'll call this one submit form. Okay, like that. All right. So that when we click, we do some kind of validation and then we can submit the form. So let's go down to a very end here and put some script tags so we can add some JavaScript to deal with the submit form function and create it. So we'll have a function here called submit underscore form. Let's put an e tag here so that we know the what we are gathering here, the information. So to go back and forth, I'll just search for submit form code here. Okay, there we go. So in here, I want to submit the event itself so that I can grab all the inputs that are here if I wanted to. So that's great. So all I want to do here, first of all, is do say prevent default. Okay. Careful with the capitalization there. This will make sure that it does not submit. So right now, if I click submit, oh, there is required here, required fields. It does submit like that, right? But now, if I submit, it doesn't, as you can see there. So instead, let's put an alert so that it shows us the JavaScript is actually running. So when we try to submit. So if I now try to submit, you see an alert instead. So what we can do now is I want to do a console.log of the current target is the form itself, dot inputs. Let me see if that will give us what we want. So I'll do this, inspect, go to the console and submit. So it's undefined, right? Okay, what I want to do is grab all the items in here. So in here we have, in the form, we have inputs, we have select. The form does carry something that we can use to grab our inputs. So what I'll do is just try to see what that is. So I'll do this, submit. So here is our form, right? So let's look here. I'm looking for something that looks, these are events, the ones that start with on, but there should be something here. Method, length, child. You know, I've forgotten what it is. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so it's just saved in here. The 0, 1, 2. This is weird. Oh, you know, I didn't realize this is how things are saved. I thought they were saved in a specific. So there's 0, 1, 2, 3. Wow. Okay, that's not as well as organized as I thought it would be. Okay, so no biggie. What we'll do is just tell it to grab everything there. So we're just going to say var inputs is equal to, let's use the e.current target, which is the form. Then let's do a query selector O to grab all items from there that fit this bill. So we want inputs, we want selects, and I think that's about it. Maybe there's text area as well. You can do that. Then now let's do a console.log and see what we got. So inputs, save. So let's refresh, go back down here, and then click. Now we have a node list. And if we look at the node list, it has a length of 0. Okay. So why? I think we needed commas here, probably. So let's do that again. There's a node list with 5 items, so that worked better. So I like this. So now we can look through here and see if any of them need validation, etc., etc. Is this a valid email, etc., and so on. But on top of that, we can submit them manually as Ajax, using Ajax. So what I want to do is create a new form here. Actually, I don't even need to create a new form. I can simply submit the form that I have. So let's do this. Let's say var, we'll call this item Ajax is equal to new XML HTTP request. Be careful with the capitalization there. Then we'll do ajax.open and then ajax.send, like that. Okay, it's as easy as that. Now I just want to send the form itself, which is e.currentTarget, which is the form. And then what else here? If I open, I tell it we're using the post, and then where are we sending this, right? So I'm going to echo out some JavaScript, so some PHP. So you can echo out some PHP within JavaScript like this. And the reason this works, actually, let me put /Ajax, because that's where we want to send it. And don't forget the true here to make it async. The reason this works is because by the time the page gets to the browser, PHP has already done its job. So here there will be some PHP, the actual text of root instead. All right, now we need to listen for when the result comes. So say ajax.add event listener. And we are listening for the ready state change. And then we run a function when that happens, like so. So let's add some more code here. We'll say if ajax.ready state is equal to 4, then things worked out. So we have a result now. Maybe you might want and ajax.status is equal to 200. So when things go well, here we're just going to alert ourselves to the result. So ajax.response text, like that. Okay, so that's about it. So now, since in the Ajax we have echoed hello from Ajax, we're supposed to see it once we hit submit. So let me try this. Let's refresh. Let's submit. And you see hello from Ajax. So things have worked out. But I want us to be able to put a valid email and so on. You can validate these things in the JavaScript, so that's up to you. But here, let's put some basic validation. Where is this? This email, let's just say this is required, right? So at least we need an email and a message. At the least, maybe even the name should be required. All right. So now that we know we can submit this, let's know what to do once it gets to where we want. So which is in the Ajax section right here. All right. So as always, to access this table, we're going to need to create a table to save this information. And so every time we create a table, we also need to create a model for that table, right? So let's do exactly that. All right, so first thing we need to do is create a model. So let's create that model here. Let's put a message, say, thank you for, I don't know what you can say here. Thank you for your message or something. So keep in mind that with Ajax, anything that you echo here is going to be returned as a result. So that's why when I echo this, that's what's returned. So if you get an error here for some reason, that's what will be returned as well, because it's as good as an echo. It gets everything from the buffer and sends it back. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's go to models. And right here in this model doesn't have, it's only for text, right? So it doesn't really have images, but this is okay. We can, let's grab this. I'm not really sure which one to use, but it doesn't really matter. Any of these work just fine. So let's create a new model here and let's save this. This one will be the RSVP model. Of course, you can name these things anything you want. Anything that's easier to name is good. So RSVP, and the table name, we'll name it the same, RSVP. Okay, and what else? Down here when we create, we have to check for RSVP. All right, so let's look at the columns that we need to create. So there's a name, email, number of guests, and which one they are attending. Let's see. So let's do that. Let's say name, that's okay. Email, let's increase this to 100. And then we don't have an image, we have the message itself. So let's leave this for just a short message. Maybe let's do 2048 instead. Characters. And then we have attending. This is some text in there. There's a sentence there. So this one, we'll just leave it there. And number of guests. So we can just say guests. This one will be an integer, of course. So let's just put int. Let's put a default value of 1, just in case. Let's put not now. All right. So attending email, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. So let's make sure we are set. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. We don't need a list order here. We may need a date so that we know when this user sent this message. So let's put a date. And here we can use date time. That might be important to know the date time. Then we can put a default value of, let's see, default value of current timestamp, like this. So it's up to you if you want to do this, or you can manually enter the date, no problem. So timestamp, like this. Okay, so current timestamp as default. Let's remove this, we don't need that either. So let's remove the last quote there, the comma there. All right, so let me grab these guys, and these will be the columns that are allowed over here. So let me just paste them in there, like so. Okay, so what I want to do here is look at this name. Let's remove that since name is already there. Oops. There's no title. Okay, there's no image either, so let's remove that. There's no title. Let me move these guys over. All right, and let's remove this. Okay. Wait, why isn't this? Okay. There we go. Attending as well. And guests. It's a number of guests. And then a date finally. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. All right. So this is great. Now we can put validation content here as well. So let's do, we don't need the image thingy here at all. There's no editing or anything like that. So let's remove that whole section. Let's remove the files data as well. We don't need that. We just need the post data. So a name is required. That's okay. Not a title, but let's put email. So here we're gonna say an email is required. And what else? A message is required as well. And let's put 2 of those. Oh, actually no, just a message, I guess. That's all we need, really. Let's do that. Message, a message is required. Now, the reason we are putting this validation here is because on this side, even though we are validating here, if I click, it won't go because of that. You know, somebody can easily edit these in the HTML and then submit. So this is not very secure. So we still need to validate the data on the PHP side, just in case for some reason they manage to bypass the JavaScript version or the ones in the HTML. So now what we do is we come here. Now, since there's only one item we are using Ajax for, if there were many items, we would send a data type as well. Let's say for this form, we can say this is the RSVP form. So we can call the data type RSVP and send that data as well in the submit. So we'll put a hidden field here to say, okay, RSVP is a data type. That way, if we had 2 or 3 forms, for example, we would put data type in each of those forms so that we know what to do and check the data type and say, if the data type is this, let's do this. If the data type is that, let's do. But this is just one item, so there's really no need to do any of that. So we're going to have info here with a message. We're going to set info to an empty array so that we can echo an array instead. That's much easier. And then put a message in there. So here I'm going to say info message like that is equal to, for now the message is empty. And then if things go well, then we set the message to be equal to this. Okay, very nice. This is more organized so that we can send some data back if we need to and tell it if things went well or not, etc., etc. That way we can also send a validation data as well. So here I'm going to say errors, for example, so we can send some errors back in case there are errors. So I will set this as an empty array like so. Okay, and then at the point, let's say here, for example, after all of this happens, now what I need to do is copy some of this stuff. I'm going to go to the admin section. Exactly the same way we have this part. Let's say the about section, we have this part happening. Though we're not uploading anything, this is fine. I just want to copy this part right here. So I'll copy this part, come to the Ajax, and then I can add it here, like so. Okay. Now instead of the about, I want us to create the, this has gone too far. I want us to create the, what is this, RSVP. So RSVP is equal to new RSVP model. Okay. And then for now, let's create the table. Since we know we don't have the table, let's just say create table, like so. Okay, great. Then let's convert every instance of about to RSVP. Let's change that. Okay. So we don't need the files, we just need the post. And we don't need file destination or image resizing whatsoever. So that's out. All we need to do is just do an insert And then we don't need to redirect since this is an Ajax request. It's not a page request. So we just insert and then just tell the user everything went well. We do that right about here. Thank you for your message, or thank you for confirming, or thank you for your RSVP. Whatever, you can write that in there. But in case there are errors here, we can put an else statement and then put those errors in place. So I'm just going to do this and say that errors is equal to RSVP errors. Whatever errors are in there, if any, like so. Okay, good. And then once we are done with all of this, right about here, I'm just going to say JSON decode. So I'm going to echo a JSON decode, actually encode in this case, because you encode when you want to send information and you decode when you receive the information. So I want to encode the information inside info like that and then echo it out. So I'm encoding it as JSON and then echoing it out. Now JSON is simply a way to display an array as text. Now the reason we're doing this is because we cannot send back arrays through the internet. The internet only sends strings of data, that's all. So you can only send a string from one system to another. So JSON was created as a system to quickly convert arrays and objects into strings, send them through the wire, and then on the other side you receive them and convert them back to their original state. So JSON looks something like this. You have a bracket, and then you have, let's say, name, and then you have full colon, and then you have John there, and then a comma, there's age, and then here you maybe 24 is your age, etc., etc. So as you can see, this is a string, but it can easily be converted to an array with a name, with a key value pair like this. So this is all it's doing. It's just getting our array and converting it to something like this. Okay, so once we do this, we can receive this information as a result. So let's try that right now. If I go back here, and then what I want, if you remember down here on the home view, in the, where is this? Whatever we receive, we're just going to echo it out. That's all. So you're going to see that information. So I'm going to type something like, I don't know, I'll put a name there. I'll put a valid email at email.com. I'm attending, number of guests, 1 maybe. Let's see, where is number of guests here? We should change it on the home page here so that it defaults to 1 instead of 0. So number of guests is here, right? But if you don't specify, we'll just assume it's 1. Okay. So, and a message. So let me submit. Look what we got now. We got a message. There's some errors. A name is required, an email is required, message, a message is required. Okay, so that's what we got there. But the good news is now a table has been created, which is RSVP. That's good. So what we can do is remove this line over here, like that. Okay, great. Now keep in mind, these can be run from anywhere in order to create new tables. So they don't have to be run here. All right, so validation failed. Now the reason the validation failed is because these things have no names. So here, name should have guest. Let's come back here. Name should be name. Email should be email. And the name here should be attending. Okay. And message right here Alrighty then. So let's see how that will work. Back here, refresh. One, I'm attending my message, and then submit. Alright, it's still saying a name is required, email is required, but why? This is not cool. Let's check it out in the model. Oh, post data, let's see. Post empty post data name, email. Okay, what we can do is let's echo out what we are receiving in the post data here. Let's do that, okay? So it's an empty array, so this is a problem. Okay. Okay, I think I know why. It's not being recognized as a post thing here. So what we need to do is this. Let's go to the home. The problem is how we are sending the data right here. So what I need to do is create a new form. So I'm going to say let my form is equal to new form data. And then in the form data, I will add my form there. Then grab my form and put it here. So you may be asking, how did I know to do this? Well, JavaScript Mozilla development page has all the information about how to do these things, how to run every code in JavaScript, or just Google it. Now I've known this because I've done it before. So let's try this again. Okay, same problem again. Oh, that's because I need to refresh the page to update the JavaScript. Okay. All right, let's try one more time. Click. Okay, so the message came back. Thank you for your message. As you can see, the errors array is empty. Very nice. So now we need to be able to refresh the page once we do that. Okay. And now if I go to this, the table, I will see that I have one message in there, which is very nice. So now we need to show this in the admin section right here. And also we need a better way to display the errors when we receive them. Showing JSON to the user is not a good idea. So let's do that.